Hey guys, welcome back to Monday Matinee. My name is Steven, and though a little late, today I'm talking about the movie Evil Dead Rise. So, Evil Dead Rise. Now, this is the 5th film of the Evil Dead franchise, though it works just as well as a standalone film. So the connection to the previous entries is only in lore, so there are no direct references to those movies, except that the book that they find in this one is the next book in line, the 3rd Book of the Dead. So in fact, our final girl, Beth, in this movie faces a different demon entirely. The demon summoned in the 2013's Evil Dead reboot was the Taker of Souls and the Abomination. In Evil Dead Rises, Beth faces the Marauder, a multi-headed, multi-limbed force of evil. But from the cold open and title card with its blaring score all the way to the end, this movie is just an onslaught of gore and carnage and just a bloody good time. This time, after the cold open, the movie leaves the cabin in the woods of the previous movies and takes the franchise to a new, fresh setting. The story takes place almost entirely in this decrepit apartment building due for demolition. There's an earthquake that reveals an old bank vault in the basement of this apartment building, which was housing the 3rd Book of the Dead and other artifacts. Among those artifacts are a series of vinyl recordings of priests deciphering this book, and one of the children of this movie plays those records on his turntable, just blaring that ancient chant, summoning the evil soon to take over. And as seen in the trailers, that entity takes over the mother, Ellie, played by Alyssa Sutherland. She lives in that dark, rundown apartment with her 3 children, and they soon get a visit from Ellie's sister, Beth, who's kind of seen as a bit of a groupie who's always on the road just following this band around. Actually, there's a bit of resemblance from Mia in 2013's Evil Dead, with both families having some inner conflict and trouble, as well as that personal turmoil. And then that same earthquake traps that family on the 8th floor of their apartment building, along with some other neighbors, setting up this tight, confined space for the evil to wreak havoc in. And you really feel like you're stuck in that space with them, making it even scarier. There's an elevator scene that's pretty similar to the forest scene in 2013's Evil Dead, which is really effective, and after that things just really get going. But the movie has a lot of highlights for sure. I think it's really well directed, and director Lee Cronin gets a lot of good performances from the child actors, making that family element that they're going for in this just a lot more meaningful. Mommy does a really good job when she's possessed, and Alyssa Sutherland just nails her performance as a deadite. Her physicality and her expressions, changing the tone of her voice, it worked really well, and the scenes with her I noticed got a lot of laughter. You know, like a nervous laughter, where you're just like, holy shit, that would be scary. And in that same sense, this movie is scary, but where it's just so wild the things that are on the screen and situationally scary. It's a lot of fun with a large audience, especially when hearing their groans or the quips at characters telling them to run away or not open doors. There's buckets of blood, glass eating, impaling, and of course, plenty of chainsawing and dismembering. This movie is definitely a lot more mainstream than the previous ones, but that could be a good thing too with just general horror fans being curious. Another highlight for this movie is definitely the sound design. The ancient chant blaring through the speakers was extra intense, though I always try to cover my ears just for at least one word, just in case. They said don't speak it, don't write it, don't hear it. But the same thing for the demonic voices, the possessed screams, and the sounds of gore and violence. It's just amplified in intensity when it's coming out of those booming speakers. I mean, you're literally feeling it in your own chest too. If there's something about the movie that I didn't like, it would probably be that the cold open didn't really connect to the rest of the movie narratively. Also, the way that that girl becomes a deadite in the first place doesn't really make sense considering the method that was used to exterminate the demon. Overall, it's definitely worth seeing. Big screen, big sound, and perhaps I enjoyed it more than 2013's Evil Dead. For a letter grade, I'd give it a B. You know what you're getting yourself into on this one. Alright guys, just a quick review. Subscribe for more movie content, and we'll see you on the next one.